Hey everyone, James Baek here, and welcome back to another episode of VGC, welcome back to another episode of VGC back-to-back battles on the championship battle spot ladder. We are going against Arsel with an 1880 rating. This should be a good battle. We're going to see the team of Gigalith, Celesteela, Tapu Koko, Tapu Lele, Hariyama, and Porygon 2. Kind of an interesting team to me, to be honest, the way it's like functions. You got two Tapus, one Ultra Beast, and a very hard Trick Room mode. Well, Marowak does extremely well against my opponent's team. So does Muk. Those are the two Pokemon that absolutely stand out to me. I think I'll lead Muk. Okay, Lapras doesn't serve much of a purpose in this game. The four Pokemon that it looks like I'm going to be bringing are Tapu, Bulu, Muk, Salamence, and Marowak. Savali can't really do much in Trick Room, and it doesn't hit my opponent's team hard. Lapras kind of struggles while being hit super effectively by almost everything. Muk, Tapu, Bulu seems pretty nice to me, so I think I'll go with that lead. And I'll have Salamence and Marowak in the back. I think that's a pretty solid lead. In case my opponent decides to lead Trick Room, Muk is pretty effective against my team, against my opponent's team overall, unless they lead Celesteela. Not sure if my opponent will bring Celesteela. Trick Room mode could do extremely well against me, but we'll see what my opponent decides to bring. I did hit record. Yes, I did. And it's still recording. Okay, we're good. So we see the Hariyama and Porygon 2 lead against my Muk and Tapu Bulu. Excellent. Alright, so download is going to activate, get the attack rise. Now, what I could do is just go for the taunt into Porygon 2 and a Wood Hammer into Hariyama. The question is, how much would Wood Hammer do? Do I want to really do that? I would probably put myself in a worse position. I think I'm going to taunt the Porygon 2. And I think I'll just go for the sub here. I think sub is pretty safe. I think we're going to see a fake out no matter what come out from my opponent. Fake out to Tapu Bulu actually, so I'm not sure my opponent knows that I carry taunt on my Muk, but I will get the taunt off, so no Trick Room should be coming out here this turn. We will see the Trick Room, excellent. So great, no Trick Room for my opponent's side. And we get some sweet recovery. We're back at full with Tapu Bulu. Flame Orb should be activating from this Hariyama. No Flame Orb, interesting set. What does my opponent has as potential options to switch in? He doesn't really have a thing that appreciates switching in. I'm going to go for the knockoff into Porygon 2, try to get rid of that item. We might see a switch from Porygon 2 as well, and I'll just protect here. I want to knock off to put in potential hammer arm range. So we're going to protect Tapu Bulu here. Muk should be able to eat a close combat. We're going to see the Ice Beam come out into the Tapu Bulu slot, and we are going to get this knockoff. Going to do a fantastic amount of damage and get rid of that Violet, especially Poison Jab. Ooh, I do not want to deal with that. So luckily we were able to scout for that Poison Jab. Very crucial. Okay, so he's going for Poison Jab and Ice Beam. So I could switch out potentially into my Marowak here. My opponent could predict that. It's probably AV Muk. Kind of want to knock off the Muk slot, and I think I will go out into Marowak. My opponent could predict it and go for the knockoff, but I don't want to lose Tapu Bulu when my opponent could potentially have the... Oh, we're going to see Porygon 2 withdraw, but I did not want to see like a Poison Jab come out into my slot. And Celesteela is going to come out, so this is actually a pretty fine switch, especially if my opponent decides to go for Poison Jab. I would say close combat would be the more likely play. Oh, we're going to see a knockoff. Oh, but it's into the Muk slot, trying to get rid of my Figy Berry. Very nice. This play isn't bad for me at all. I don't know if Shadow Bone plus Poison Jab would knock out the Hariyama, though. So I think I'll just Poison Jab the Hariyama and protect here. Hariyama can't protect, and I want to put in that range of Shadow Bone plus Poison Jab to knock out. Also, the fact that I'm pretty sure Celesteela is going to try to get a free sub up, but I don't think... Like, I think I have to let that happen. I don't think there's anything I can do to really prevent that. I'm going to see the Leech Seed, and it's actually going to go out to the Muk slot. That's perfectly fine with me. We get the Poison Jab off. we'll target down this Hariyama. Should do a decent... Oh, that actually did a bit more than I thought. Knockoff will come out into the Marowak slot. So I guess my opponent's trying to get rid of my Trickermancer, which is the taunt on the... which is the Trick Room on the Muck. I mean, the taunt on the Muck. Okay, so Flare Blitz might be able to KO the Hariyama. It should at that range. I don't know if Celesteela protects or tries to go for a substitute. I kind of want to knock out that Leftovers recovery though. Should I knock off or should I switch? Because if I switch and knock out Hariyama, that puts me in a bad position. I think knockoff is a better play. I would really love to go into my Salamence right now. But the problem is I can't exactly do that because I need Muck on the field to taunt that Porygon 2 to prevent Trick Room from going up. We're going to get the Flare Blitz. Oh wait, this might be Fickfet. Oh, it is Fickfet. That was a misplay. I'm always assuming they're Guts. Terrible play by me. We're probably going to get knocked out by a knockoff here, and that's extremely bad. Knockoff will connect with the Celesteela, doing a ton of damage actually. And knockoff into the Marowak. It's not going to pick up the knockout even with the Leech Seed recovery. But that was a huge misplay. I should have went for Shadow Bone. Maybe I should have went for Shadow Bone Poison Jab because if I predicted the Celesteela anyway. I wonder if Flare Blitz would still be able to knock out the Celesteela though. It might. I'm expecting my Marowak to go down in a turn or two. I would expect my opponent to just Heavy Slam. Grassy Terrain's going to disappear. That's fine. I'm going to go out into my Salamence because I want to reset this Leech Seed, get that Intimidate off as well. And I really have to get rid of the Celesteela. This Celesteela is a pain. Don't know if we would see a Heavy Slam too into the Marowak to get the Beast Boost potentially. That's also another play I could see. Although I don't know what the roll is on Heavy Slam on Marowak. But I think it could KO at that range. So we'll see, depending on my opponent's attack EVs. We're going to see Hariyama withdraw. Go on to Porygon 2, so we might just see the Heavy Slam into Muck, I think. As we're going to see the download activate, get the special attack rise. And Celesteela actually protects. Ooh, this makes this turn tricky. I'm not exactly a fan of my positioning here. Ah, that's so bad. Heavy Slam is a big threatening from the Celesteela. Devastating Drake might be able to knock out the Porygon 2, but that's a might. Oh, I'm really not a fan of the way I played this. The Flare Blitz play was just awful. I should have assumed it was Fickfat after Assault Vest. I think I have to go for Devastating Drake and hope I knock out the Porygon 2. I think that's the only way I can win, because I'm thinking about trying to sub, but if he gets a Trick Room up, I'm kind of screwed. I don't want... Heavy Slam might not KO after the Intimidate too. I'll double up into Porygon 2. I might have to... This Celesteela is going to be annoying, but we're going to see Celesteela actually withdraw into Gigalith. So... It depends. One, if my Marowak's faster than the Porygon 2, we will get the knockout. But I see what he's doing right here. What he's doing is getting rid of my Marowak 100%, not losing to Celesteela, because Celesteela can potentially win in the end game. So this is still pretty scary positioning for me. But we know all four of my opponent's Pokemon now, and if my opponent isn't like a fast Porygon 2, and we are able to get the Flare Blitz off, we're in a okay spot. It's not the best, it's not the worst. Yeah, it wasn't enough. And nice, we are faster, or my opponent decided to go for Trick Room. So we will knock out this Porygon 2, which is exactly what I needed to get back into this game. I'm going to have to unfortunately rely on Mence to probably knock out the Celesteela. So that is a bit unfortunate. But the Hariyama has lost its Assault Vest, and it is in Draco Meteor range. So this is pretty ideal. Go out into the Tapu Bulu. I don't know if my opponent would... I think he would bring a Celesteela here. I don't think Hariyama gets much... Yeah, Celesteela is going to come out. Oh wait, we already saw the Hariyama's full moveset. It's Fake Out, Knockoff, Poison Jab, and then you have to assume Close Combat. So, we saw the full moveset. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. I'm pretty sure Horn Leech with Stab will knock out the Gigalith. I don't know if my opponent goes for a Leech Seed or Heavy Slam. I'm going to Horn Leech the Gigalith and sub here. Because I think this is a safe play no matter what. Because if Gigalith doesn't protect, I think Horn Leech knocks it out. Unless I'm really underestimating Gigalith's physical defense. What is it? Base 100. Oh, it might be base 130. Grassy terrain might not be the thing that's able to pick up the knockout. Oh, but we're going to see Gigalith switch out. That's best case scenario. So we're going to see Hariyama come out. I wonder what my opponent's going to go for with the Celesteela. We're going to sub here, though. And that's a huge sub for me. And Tapu Bulu is actually faster. Okay. That's pretty big. Hariyama goes down. Heavy Slam. Leech Seed. Perfect. We called that turn exactly. I'm guessing... Wait, no. That's not AV Gigalith. Because we already... Unless it doesn't have Protect for some reason. Oh boy. Gigalith is going to come out. It could be a speed tie between Tapu Bulu and Gigalith. I don't need Tapu Bulu to win the game though, so I'm going to double protect. I want to scout out for my opponent's protect from Gigalith, and I also want to see like what the Celesteela can do in this situation. Maybe sub up? I have no idea what the Celesteela wants to do. That's a big question. But we have turned this game back into my favor. I'm actually quite curious about the Hariyama switching. Unless my opponent really needed Gigalith to stay alive, but Protect was a move you could have went for. Unless you predicted me to, for some reason, Protect Tapu Bulu. Alright, so we're going to double Protect here. I really want to scout out for the Gigalith. And its potential ability to Protect here. Okay. Yes. Okay. Excellent. Let's see what the Celesteela goes for. It's going to be the Heavy Slam, and it's going to target down Tapu Bulu. Excellent. Perfect turn, basically, for me. I'm able to stall out the Protect, not take any damage with Tapu Bulu, so in case Celesteela and Tapu Bulu are randomly speed tying, I am able to live the Heavy Slam. Not sure if I'm able to live a crit, though. That's a problem. We'll go for the Flamethrower, and we'll go for the Wood Hammer into the Gigalith slot. And luckily, my opponent cannot Leech Seed anything on the field other than the Gigalith. So we're going to get the Flamethrower off, and this should do probably about 30%. A bit more, which is pretty nice. And we will get the Wood Hammer off, and this should be able to pick up the knockout. Yeah, Grassy terrain is strong, man. So Gigalith goes down. Tapu Bulu is going to take recoil, but Tapu Bulu is unnecessary in this matchup. We're going to see the Heavy Slam once again, and it will target down the Tapu Bulu this time. Oh no, the Beast Boost. Well, Beast Boost is fine because we still have Muck. It is special defense. That's a bit annoying to deal with. Flamethrower is not going to be doing as much. I also don't know how much Heavy Slam will do to Muck. It will probably do a good amount. Probably 40. We have 2 turns of Grassy terrain left. Alright, so I'm going to Flamethrower, and I am going to Taunt. I don't remember if Muck was faster than Celesteela, but I will Taunt because this way my opponent can't Protect stall. Oh, we're actually going to see the Protect from Celesteela, which is interesting, but Sandstone is going to disappear and Muck is going to get a bit of recovery, so I'm kind of fine with this. And we knocked off the leftovers already, I believe. Yeah. The reason I'm going for Taunt is if my opponent wants to Leech Seed the Muck, you can't Protect with Celesteela to try and stall out some recovery, which is why I'm going to go for the Taunt every time. And then I can just follow up with Flamethrower knockoff combinations. So we'll get the Flamethrower off. If we get a burn, I think this game would just be over. Oh wow, that still does a bit more than expected. We'll see the Heavy Slam actually, and it will target down my Salamence slot, which is fine. That's actually ideal because now my opponent doesn't get Leech Seed recovery. I think you had to Leech Seed the Muck in order to have a chance to win. Unless my opponent thought that Muck was faster than Celesteela. I guess I could see that because you don't know the speed tier. Unless it was shown earlier in the game, but I don't think it... Actually, I think it was. Unless Celesteela protected that turn. But now I can just sub up and go for knockoff. It's very safe here. My opponent can't knock out either one of my Pokemon, even with a crit. And then the knockoff damage will put the Celesteela range in another Flamethrower range. So basically, I'm putting myself in a 100% win condition where I'm not letting my opponent have a chance to come back. So we're going to see the Heavy Slam come out into the Salamence. Yep. You're forced to keep going for Heavy Slam. We might even have room for one more sub, but it should be unnecessary. The knockoff should put into Flamethrower range. Yeah, that's 100% Flamethrower range. So, excellent. This game could have came down really close, but luckily we were able to pull it off. I think, yeah. Perfect. Oh, man, that game was scary. That game was scary, not gonna lie. These games have been pretty long lately, actually. This one's, what, 14 minutes long? But, okay, so what I wanted to do was deny Trick Room, because I thought Trick Room would be the thing. No Tapus from my opponent's side made it a lot easier for my team to handle, because navigating against Tapu Lele and Tapu Koko is very annoying for my team. I probably have to do something with Muk and also Tapu Bulu smartly switching into attacks. But luckily my opponent didn't have that offensive pressure. We saw like a lead fake out, but the fake out went into Tapu Bulu, which does make sense. Tapu Bulu can carry like a Whirlwind or Roar. I know it gets Whirlwind. I don't know if it gets Roar. But it's the same effect anyway, and you could get rid of Trick Room Setter. But luckily my opponent didn't expect Taunt on the Porygon 2, and that's the blunder my opponent made. And then I was able to prevent Trick Room from going out, which really just hurted my opponent. So we'll find one more game, or two potentially, depending on how fast the next game is. But I don't think there's going to be a video tomorrow. This is kind of random for me to say, but I do have a mid-season showdown that I'll be competing tomorrow, and you people can watch that on twitch.tv/LibertyGarden. I think they are streaming that event. So, oh wow, Renee VGC 1919 rating. Oh wow. Okay, so we're gonna see the team of Garchomp, Gastrodon, Celesteela, Arcanine, Tapu Lele, and Gengar. Oh wow, this seems actually very similar to something I was testing earlier. It looks like Marcus's team without, what Pokemon is my opponent? Tapu Koko. Interesting choice. As my own Celesteela would, if I had a Celesteela, this would be a great matchup. So, let's think. What will my opponent want to bring and not bring? I don't think you want to bring the Gastrodon if you're my opponent. It doesn't really help. Tapu Lele is such a big threat. So is Gengar's pretty annoying as well, but we do have our Muk. I think Salamence is pretty useful. Marowak can also be useful. Lapras is pretty strong. It depends on how I want to handle this. I think I'll lead Silvally because I really want to answer to that Garchomp with the Ice Beam. Garchomp will probably not be the Focus Sash variant because we already see the Gengar is carrying the Focus Sash most likely. So I think Silvally Muk is a safe lead. The only thing that can threaten Muk is the Garchomp. And I have Lapras and Salamence in the back because they're reliable switch-ins and they can handle a lot on my opponent's team. This is going to be an interesting matchup. I have never played this matchup before. Actually, no. I think we did. I don't know. It wasn't like this kind of team. Tapu Lele combined with Garchomp and Gengar is going to be a very interesting matchup. I wonder if my opponent would bring Gengar, though. I mean, I do have Marowak, and okay, so we're going to see Tapu Lele Arcanine lead. That's not bad. It's not the worst, though. I mean, it's kind of bad because of the Intimidate. We have no idea who's faster, though. That's a huge issue. So Intimidate's going to happen. Will-O-Wisp is going to be annoying here. Kind of wish I let Salamence or something. I don't know what my opponent would have in the back. I would expect Garchomp 100%. Probably Celesteela. That's annoying if they have that combination. I think I'll Flash Cannon that slot. Because I need damage on the Tapu Lele. Well, Tapu Lele would most likely protect here, right? I'll Thunderbolt the Arcanine slot and just protect here. I really expect the Protect or Switch out from Tapu Lele. Maybe into Celesteela and a Will-O-Wisp. Yeah, we're going to see the Protect from Tapu Lele. So this means it's probably a Scarf variant. I mean, not a Scarf variant. It's not a Scarf variant. We just confirmed that. So we're going to protect our Muk here. We're probably going to see a Will-O-Wisp into that slot. We'll get the Thunderbolt off into Arcanine. And get a chip damage. Nice. And we will see the Will-O-Wisp. Perfect. Basically what I got ideal. But my positioning is still not that great with the Intimidate out. At least I have threatened with Thunderbolt. And I think I'll Poison Jab. I really only need Muk for this Tapu Lele. It doesn't help much against my opponent's team. Unless it knocking off the... knocking off the leftovers from Celesteela would be nice. The problem is I'm really worried about Tapu Lele switching to Garchomp, but there isn't... Well, if my opponent does switch into Garchomp, I always have the Salamence to switch in, so I guess it wouldn't be too bad. So I'm fine with doubling up with a Poison Jab Thunderbolt, because this might be able to pick up the knockout, or at least put it in range where Salamence can KO with Flamethrower later. We're going to see Arcanine withdraw. Very interesting play. Celesteela is coming in. Very interesting play. Maybe anticipating my Muk to switch out, but we will get the Thunderbolt off, and this Tapu Lele shouldn't have anything for my Muk. Oh, Paralysis, which might be unfortunate, but my opponent does get the Z move off, so very fine. This is going to be the Shattered Psyche coming out from the Tapu Lele, and that will probably knock out my Savali. But I'm pretty fine trading Savali for Tapu Lele if we do get the knockout, because 1, we got rid of the main threat to my Salamence, and 2, Salamence can come in, so not bad. We already seen the Arcanine Celesteela. This does not look bad for me at all. As yeah, that's going to knock out Savali, no problem. But this Poison Jab should be able to knock out the Tapu Lele. If it doesn't, that Paralysis might matter. But yeah, it's able to pick up the knockout. Tapu Lele is pretty frail in the physical side. And Shattered Psyche usually runs max speed. So now I can bring out Salamence, or I can bring out Lapras. I think bringing out Salamence is the call here, because we can threaten the Arcanine with the Devastating Drake. It's going to be interesting to see the following turns play out. Oh, Gengar is actually my opponent's last Pokemon. Very interesting. So I feel like we have a very solid chance to win. I have to get rid of the Gengar first. And Gengars don't really carry Taunt too much. Even though I got Salamence in a decently favorable position, I don't want to lose Salamence here to a Sludge Bomb. So I'm actually going to withdraw and go with a knockoff into Gengar, because the following turn, if my opponent wants to save Gengar by switching out to Arcanine, I can brine that slot as well. So I'm thinking about this game where I'm getting rid of my opponent's side of the field and having that Celesteela alone. That's what I want, but the problem is a free sub for Celesteela would be very troublesome. And my opponent's probably going to set up some Leech Seeds right now. Unless my opponent wants to double into Salamence with a Heavy Slam Sludge Bomb, I could definitely see that play as well. So we're going to withdraw Salamence, go into Lapras here. Let's see, does Gengar go for a Protect or something to try to stall out? It's just going to be the Sludge Bomb into the Lapras. Don't poison. Okay, and it will be the Heavy Slam. So nice, we are able to call that one. Excellent. But that does half though. That's actually not what I wanted. That's not ideal. I was not expecting the Heavy Slam combination to do that much. So I think I'll brine the Gengar slot and go for the Taunt into Celesteela, or should I go for the knockoff? I think I'll knock off just to get rid of its item, because Leftovers recovery is very annoying, and I can always sub up with Salamence later. Maybe I should have targeted the Gengar, because there's a chance my opponent just stitches the Gengar and doubles attacks to Lapras. But we're going to see Celesteela withdraw. Interesting choice by my opponent. Oh, does my opponent have Destiny Bond or something? Cheeky. Intimidate's going to activate, which is fine. Oh, Gengar protects. That's fine. Alright, this isn't too bad. Brine into the Gengar slot, as we are going to get the knockoff into the Arcanine. Charcoal. Okay, so Charcoal. I think I can just brine the Arcanine though and knock off the Gengar slot. My opponent wants to switch out. I get rid of the item on Celesteela. Very interesting switch, since Celesteela was in a fine position. Maybe my opponent's more of an offensive Celesteela and wanted to Heavy Slam for more pressure. But I don't think Arcanine plus Gengar can knock me out unless it's a Flare Blitz or Burn Up potentially. So we're going to see the Sludge Bomb come out. Gets the poison, but if Lapras survives the turn, we're good. It is going to be the burn up, so can we survive this? That's a question. We aren't able to survive that, so that's a bit unfortunate, but we get what I mainly wanted, which was the knockout onto Gengar. Excellent. Ooh, this can be tricky. This can be very tricky. I'm going to get Salamence out here. And now is the question of my opponent. What does it do with the Celesteela? Celesteela is going to come out. I really... we get the Intimidate off the Celesteela, which is okay. That's the best part about this turn. But the problem is I don't know what Arcanine will do. We saw Burn Up. We saw Willis. We don't know its moveset. If Arcanine protects, it goes for it now, but I'm fine with taking a Will-O-Wisp into Muck. I don't want the Celesteela to get a Leech Seed into my Salamence. That's huge. So I'm going to taunt the Celesteela because I feel like if my opponent Leech Seeds the Salamence, I'm screwed. That's exactly how I feel. I feel like I cannot let my opponent get a Leech Seed onto Salamence. I could sub here, but the potential Snarl is pretty big. So I do not want Snarl to happen. And I really want this taunt off safely without losing anything from Salamence. I don't even want to take HP in case my opponent goes for a Heavy Slam and breaks my sub. So we'll protect with Salamence right here. We're going to see, yep, the Snarl. Okay. Alright, Snarl's going to come out. So we'll see what the Celesteela wants to go for. It's going to be the Leech Seed. Targets down the Salamence. Excellent. That's what I wanted. And we get the taunt off into Celesteela. Now we can go for... Did we use our... No, we didn't use our Devastating Drake earlier. Yeah, we still have it. Nice. We can go for the Devastating Drake into the Arcanine, and we can go for the knockoff into Celesteela. Get rid of its potential item. Arcanine might not carry Protect. It might carry Roar if this is Marcus's team. And nice, we're not going to see a Protect. So we're going to get this Devastating Drake off, and it will target down this Arcanine and pick up the knockout. The question is, how much does Heavy Slam do from my opponent Celesteela? Because that's a very big question. So we're going to get the Devastating Drake off. If Heavy Slam doesn't do half, I think we're good. If it does less than half, we're good. So Arcanine. Nice. Arcanine goes down to Devastating Drake. And let's see what the Celesteela does. Heavy Slam will come out, and it should target down my Salamence 100%. Nice. It doesn't do half. And we get the knockoff, so no more leftover recoveries for my opponent. And some Flamethrowers combined with knockoffs will put myself in a really nice position here. My opponent cannot have leftovers recoveries, cannot go for a Protect or a Leech Seed to stall out anything. As long as my opponent doesn't get a crit, we should be good. So Flamethrower will come out. Let's gauge the damage right here. Nice. Another Flamethrower should be able to pick up the knockout. So pray for no crit. Nice. And we win the game. Perfect. Oh, we even get the crit on Celesteela. So even if my opponent got a crit, we would have still won. That's excellent. That's excellent. So if it would have been a crit for a crit, and we would have still won the game because my opponent had no recovery, and a knockoff would have been able to KO. And even if my opponent got a second crit on the Muck, wouldn't be able to KO the Muck. So perfect. We are able to get rid of Celesteela, and that will be 2 wins for us today on the channel. I think that's pretty much it. I do want to practice more for my mid-season, so I'll leave it at that. Hope everyone enjoyed today's episode. If you people did, please leave a like on the video down below. Check out my social medias. Down below, you can support the channel with Patreon. You can check out my Twitch streams for live streams. I'll probably be doing that soon because school finals are coming up, so yeah. I don't like it either. You guys don't like it either. You guys and girls don't like it either. You guys want to see me stream. I want to. But mid-season's first, the mid-season first, finish the finals, stream as long as I want. And if you people want to check out the team, there's a paste bin down below in the description as well. You can check out the previous episodes of VGC back-to-back battles if you have missed any. Otherwise, I will see you guys and girls around in another episode of VGC back-to-back battles. Again, there might be no episode tomorrow because I'll be at the mid-season. But there should be one on Sunday guaranteed and daily uploads from there. So, thank you guys for watching, and see you later.